Imagine standing at the edge of a marina on a calm morning. The water looks pristine, almost inviting. But if you look closer, really closer, you'll see what most people miss. There, floating on the surface, are tiny fragments of plastic. Oil slicks shimmer in rainbow patterns. Cigarette butts drift lazily between the boats. A plastic bag tangles itself around a piling. This pollution isn't dramatic like an oil spill or a garbage patch, but it's constant, insidious, and it's killing marine life every single day. For decades, we've approached ocean cleanup with boats, nets, and volunteers walking beaches with trash bags. These efforts are noble, necessary even, but they're like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. The trash keeps coming, faster than we can collect it. We needed something different, something that could work continuously, tirelessly, without human intervention. Something that could catch the problem where it starts, before debris escapes into the open ocean. Enter the Seabin project, an invention so elegantly simple that you wonder why no one thought of it decades ago. Picture a floating garbage bin installed at the waterline in marinas, docks, and yacht clubs. It sits there, inconspicuous, about the size of a standard trash can. But unlike a regular bin, this one is automated and constantly active. A submersible pump creates a gentle current, drawing water into the bin from the surface. As water flows in, it carries everything floating nearby. Plastic bottles, food wrappers, microplastics, even floating petroleum-based oils and detergents. Here's where it gets fascinating. The Seabin processes over 25,000 liters of water every single hour. Think about that volume. In one day, that's 600,000 liters. In a year, a single unit can capture up to 1.4 tons of floating debris. It catches everything from large objects you can see with the naked eye down to microplastics as small as 2 millimeters, those invisible particles that work their way into the food chain and eventually onto our dinner plates. The system uses a natural fiber catch bag that traps the debris while allowing water to flow through and return to the marina. The collected trash is then disposed of properly or recycled. Some advanced Seabin models even include an oil-water separator that can absorb surface pollutants, leaving the water cleaner than when it entered. But the real genius lies in its placement strategy. Marinas and ports are collection points where debris naturally accumulates due to wind and current patterns. By positioning Seabins in these locations, the devices intercept pollution before it disperses into the open ocean, where recovery becomes exponentially more difficult. It's preventive medicine for the ocean. Today, hundreds of Seabins operate in over 50 countries across 6 continents. They're quietly working in Australia, France, the United Kingdom, the United States, and countless other locations. Marina operators report visibly cleaner water. Marine life returns to areas that were previously choked with debris. Children swimming in these waters are safer from contact with harmful materials. The Seabin project proves something profound about innovation. Sometimes the best solutions don't require revolutionary new science. They require seeing an old problem from a fresh angle and applying existing technology in clever ways. It's a floating trash can, yes, but it's also a statement that we refuse to accept pollution as inevitable. One marina, one Seabin, 1 ton of trash at a time, we're taking back our oceans. Picture a village in rural Kenya as the sun dips below the horizon. Within minutes, darkness swallows everything. No streetlights flicker on. No porch lights illuminate doorways. Inside the homes, families face a choice they shouldn't have to make: sit in darkness or light a kerosene lamp. Most choose the lamp, despite knowing the dangers. The toxic fumes fill small rooms, causing respiratory problems and eye irritation. The dim, flickering light strains eyes, but it's barely enough for children to raid their schoolwork. Fires break out regularly when lamps tip over, and the cost, perhaps worst of all, consumes up to 30% of a family's income. This is the reality for over 750 million people worldwide who live without access to electricity. We've tried solving this problem before. Solar panels seem like the obvious answer, and in many cases they work beautifully, but they require consistent sunlight, which isn't guaranteed everywhere. They need batteries that eventually die and must be replaced at considerable expense. They're vulnerable to theft in impoverished areas, and in regions near the equator where days and nights are nearly equal length year-round, solar storage becomes even more challenging. What if the solution wasn't high-tech at all? What if it was something so fundamental, so ancient, that we overlook it completely? Gravity has been pulling objects toward Earth for billions of years, utterly reliable, completely free, available everywhere on the planet regardless of weather or latitude. The gravity light harnesses this most basic force of nature and converts it into something transformative: light. The device is disarmingly simple. You attach a bag filled with rocks or sand, weighing about 12 kilograms, to a cord. You lift this weight up about 6 feet high using a pulley system. Then you let go. As gravity pulls the weight slowly downward over the next 20 to 30 minutes, it drives a generator that powers a bright LED light. No fuel, no batteries, no solar panels, no electricity grid. Just gravity doing what gravity always does, now put to work for human benefit. The brilliance lies not just in what it does, but in what it eliminates. No ongoing costs. A family pays once, perhaps $10 to $15, and the device lasts for years. No toxic fumes poisoning lungs. No fire hazards from open flames. No dependency on sunshine or weather patterns. The light produced is bright and steady, perfect for reading, working, or simply gathering as a family after dark. For a child in these communities, gravity light means something profound. It means studying after sunset, which often means the difference between education and illiteracy. It means parents can work on income-generating activities beyond daylight hours. It means dignity, the simple dignity of choosing when your day ends rather than having the sun make that choice for you. The device has been distributed to communities across Africa, Asia, and South America. Field tests show families using it multiple times per night, lifting the weight again and again as needed. Some households have multiple units for different rooms. The technology proves that innovation doesn't always mean complexity. Sometimes it means recognizing that the most powerful forces in the universe are also the most available, waiting for someone clever enough to put them to work. Gravity powered our ancestors' watermills centuries ago. Now it's bringing light to the world's darkest corners. Walk through any supermarket and look at the produce surrounding you. Apples, almonds, cucumbers, coffee, blueberries, avocados. Approximately 1/3 of everything you see exists because of bees. These tiny creatures, weighing less than a gram, are responsible for pollinating 75% of global food crops. Without them, grocery stores would look apocalyptically empty. Yet bee populations worldwide are collapsing at terrifying rates, declining by 30 to 50% in recent years. Pesticides, habitat destruction, climate change, and disease are killing them faster than colonies can recover. Scientists faced a chilling question: what happens when they're gone? But some researchers asked something different. What if we could build a backup system? What if technology could support nature until we fix what we've broken? Robotic bees sound like science fiction, but they're already flying in laboratories worldwide. These mechanical pollinators, roughly the size of actual bees, are equipped with artificial intelligence, tiny cameras, GPS navigation, and the ability to recognize flowers. The most advanced prototypes use horse hair coated with ionic liquid gel to collect and transfer pollen with remarkable precision. They can fly autonomously, identify which flowers need pollination, and execute the delicate transfer of pollen from stamen to pistil. Let me be clear, these should never replace real bees. Nature spent millions of years perfecting pollination, and nothing we build will match that elegance. But as insurance for our food security, as a temporary bridge while we desperately work to restore natural pollinator populations. This technology represents hope when we're facing potential catastrophe. Think of it as a fire extinguisher. You hope you never need it. You'd much rather prevent the fire, but having it available could mean the difference between manageable crisis and complete disaster. Robotic bees aren't the solution to pollinator decline. Stopping pesticide abuse, restoring habitats, and addressing climate change are the real solutions. But while we fight those battles, this invention ensures our children will still have food on their plates. Imagine losing your hearing gradually, the way most people do. Conversations become exhausting as you strain to catch every word. You smile and nod when you don't understand, pretending you heard the joke everyone's laughing at. Television volume creeps higher until family members complain. Phone calls become anxiety, inducing ordeals. Eventually, someone suggests a hearing aid, and you resist. Not because you don't want to hear better, but because of what it means. That visible device sitting behind your ear, announcing to everyone that you're old, disabled, different. This stigma keeps millions of people suffering in silence rather than seeking help. They miss conversations with grandchildren, withdraw from social gatherings, and experience isolation that research links directly to depression and cognitive decline. Traditional hearing aids work brilliantly from a technical standpoint, but the psychological barrier remains insurmountable for many. Now imagine a hearing solution that's completely invisible. Not small, not discreet, genuinely invisible. This technology exists through a device smaller than a grain of rice, attached to one of your molars. It receives sound wirelessly and transmits vibrations through your tooth directly into your jawbone. These vibrations travel through bone conduction straight to your inner ear, completely bypassing your ear canal. You hear clearly, naturally, and absolutely. No one can see any device whatsoever. The sound quality often surpasses traditional hearing aids because bone conduction eliminates distortions that occur when sound travels through air. There's no feedback whistle, no feeling of ears being plugged, no discomfort from devices sitting in your ear canal for hours. The implant is powered wirelessly and can last years before needing replacement. For someone who's been avoiding hearing aids due to vanity or stigma, this changes everything. It's not just about hearing better. It's about dignity. It's about getting help without feeling like you're advertising a disability. This invention recognizes something profound. Medical solutions should enhance lives without defining identities. Sometimes the most important innovation isn't making technology more powerful, but making it disappear completely. Stand in the Atacama Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. Some areas haven't seen rain in centuries. The ground cracks under relentless sun, and survival seems impossible. Yet people live here, communities persist, and somehow life continues. Now consider this. Even in this parched landscape, there's water all around you, not underground, not in distant rivers, but floating invisibly in the air itself. Even desert air contains moisture, typically around 15 to 20% humidity. The challenge has always been capturing it. For millennia, humans have been at the mercy of geography when it comes to water access. You lived near rivers, lakes, or wells, or you didn't survive. We've built elaborate infrastructure, aqueducts, pipelines, desalination plants, to move water from where it exists to where we need it. But what if we could pull water directly from the atmosphere, anywhere, anytime? Atmospheric water generators do exactly this. These devices use condensation technology to extract moisture from air and convert it into clean, drinkable water. The process mirrors how morning dew forms on grass. Air is cooled below its dew point, causing water vapor to condense into liquid droplets that are then collected, filtered, and purified. Some advanced systems can produce hundreds of liters daily, even in arid conditions with humidity as low as 15%. The implications are staggering. Remote communities without access to groundwater or infrastructure can generate their own water supply using only electricity, which can come from solar panels. Disaster relief operations can deploy these units to areas where water systems have been destroyed. Military operations in hostile environments no longer require vulnerable supply chains. Developing nations can leapfrog traditional water infrastructure entirely, just as mobile phones allowed them to skip landline networks. This technology fundamentally redefines water scarcity. It proves that abundance isn't just about what exists beneath our feet, but about recognizing resources we've overlooked. The atmosphere holds approximately 13 trillion tons of water at any moment. We're finally learning to harvest it. Imagine swallowing a sensor smaller than a grain of sand, so tiny it's nearly invisible to the naked eye, yet powerful enough to monitor your heart rate, blood pressure, nerve signals, and muscle activity from inside your body. This isn't a concept from a distant future. It's happening now in research laboratories, and it's called neural dust. Traditional medical monitoring requires bulky equipment. Heart monitors mean wearing chest straps or adhesive patches. Brain activity monitoring requires caps covered in wires. Internal monitoring often means invasive procedures with large implanted devices that require batteries, create infection risks, and eventually need surgical removal. We've accepted these limitations because we had no alternative. Neural dust changes everything. These sensors, measured in cubic millimeters, can be implanted anywhere in the body with a simple injection. They're powered wirelessly through ultrasound waves, eliminating the need for batteries entirely. They communicate their data back to external receivers, also using ultrasound, which penetrates tissue far better than radio waves. Once inside, they can remain functional for years, continuously monitoring whatever biological signals they're designed to detect. For patients with chronic conditions, this means constant monitoring without lifestyle disruption. Someone with heart disease could have neural dust tracking cardiac function in real time, alerting doctors to problems before symptoms even appear. Paralysis, patients could use these sensors to control prosthetic limbs with their thoughts, as the dust reads nerve signals and translates them into movement commands. Epilepsy patients could receive warnings minutes before seizures occur, giving them time to reach safety. The technology represents a fundamental shift in medicine from reactive to predictive. Instead of waiting for patients to report symptoms, doctors receive continuous data streams revealing problems at their earliest, most treatable stages. The sensors are biocompatible, cause minimal immune response, and because they're powered externally, they never need battery replacement surgery. We're moving toward a future where your body constantly communicates its status, where health monitoring is invisible, continuous, and integrated seamlessly into daily life. Picture yourself in a diagnostic room, anxiously awaiting test results that will determine your treatment plan. Your doctor needs to know if that medication is working, if your nerve damage is healing, if your muscle tissue is regenerating after injury. Traditionally, this requires repeated visits, invasive biopsies, or bulky monitoring equipment that tethers you to hospital rooms. The data comes in snapshots, moments frozen in time, rather than the continuous story your body is actually telling. Now imagine sensors distributed throughout your body, each one smaller than a single grain of sand, constantly gathering information about your health. They monitor nerve signals in damaged limbs, track muscle activity during rehabilitation, measure chemical concentrations in organs, detect inflammation markers before you feel pain. These microscopic devices communicate wirelessly with receivers outside your body, painting a complete, real-time picture of what's happening beneath your skin. This is neural dust technology, and it's revolutionizing how we understand the human body. These miniature sensors, barely visible to the naked eye, can be implanted through simple injection procedures. They require no batteries because they're powered by ultrasound waves sent from external devices. The same ultrasound carries their data back out, penetrating tissue that would block traditional radio signals. They're made from biocompatible materials that the body tolerates indefinitely, causing minimal immune response and no need for surgical removal. For paralysis patients, neural dust scattered along nerve pathways can read intention signals and translate them into commands for robotic prosthetics. For cardiac patients, sensors monitoring heart tissue provide warnings of dangerous rhythms before symptoms appear. For chronic pain sufferers, doctors can pinpoint exactly which nerves are misfiring rather than guessing. The breakthrough isn't just in size, it's in accessibility. Medical monitoring shifts from episodic checkups to continuous surveillance, from reactive treatment to predictive intervention. Your body becomes a network of information, constantly communicating its status, catching problems at their earliest and most treatable stages. Healthcare transforms from educated guessing to data-driven precision.